This is News Radio Africa, bringing you the pulse of the continent. We turn our spotlight to the West African nation of Ivory Coast, where the upcoming presidential elections have taken a dramatic and controversial turn. The Independent Electoral Commission of Ivory Coast, known locally as the CEI, has officially struck 4 high-profile opposition leaders from the final electoral register. This means they are not only barred from contesting in the country's pivotal October 25th elections, but also from voting altogether. Among those barred is Tidjane Thiam, the internationally respected leader of the Democratic Party of Ivory Coast, or PDCI. Thiam, who once led global banking giant Credit Suisse, was seen by many as the primary challenger to President Alassane Ouattara. He's joined on the banned list by 3 other influential figures: former President Laurent Gbagbo, his longtime ally Charles Blé Goudet, former Prime Minister and ex-rebel leader Guillaume Soro. Tidjane Thiam commented, saying that his elimination from the electoral list is a sad but eloquent example of Ivory Coast's drift towards a total absence of democracy. That was the powerful message from Tidjane Thiam, issued just days after the CEI confirmed that no further revisions would be made to the voter register. Thiam had been removed in April following a court decision that ruled he was ineligible to run due to dual nationality. Though born in Ivory Coast, Thiam had held French citizenship since 1987. He officially renounced his French citizenship in March this year, but the court said the move came too late. Thiam has since filed a complaint with the United Nations Human Rights Committee, arguing that the ban violates both Ivorian law and international democratic norms. Former President Laurent Gbagbo, once acquitted by the International Criminal Court, has again found himself sidelined by Ivorian politics. Despite his acquittal of war crimes charges, the CEI has refused to include his name on the list. Alongside him is Charles Blé Goudet, who was tried with Gbagbo in The Hague, but also cleared of charges. Then there's Guillaume Soro, a man who once commanded rebel forces during the Ivorian Civil War, later served as Prime Minister, and is now living in exile. He's been sentenced in absentia to life in prison for allegedly organising a coup attempt. None of these 3 men will be participating in what is shaping up to be one of the most controversial elections in recent memory. The news has sparked outrage among opposition parties. Jean-Gervais Chide, Secretary General of Gbagbo's African People's Party Ivory Coast, called the move a disgrace, accusing the government of ignoring calls for dialogue and compromise. "We're not going to let them do it," Chida declared to AFP news agency, suggesting that the opposition is preparing to mount a significant resistance campaign. Meanwhile, Simone Gbagbo, former First Lady and now a presidential hopeful herself, said conditions are not conducive to a peaceful, calm election. She's one of the few opposition figures who did make the final voter list. The CEI, for its part, insists that its decisions are guided strictly by law and the rulings of an independent judiciary. Chairman Ibrahima Kouibiet Koulibaly stood firm earlier this week, declaring that the register will not be revised and that there is no room for negotiation. With a final list of 8.7 million registered voters, the Commission says it is fully prepared to conduct elections in October, despite the growing criticism from inside and outside the country. President Alassane Ouattara, who has ruled since 2011, is officially on the voter register, but has yet to declare if he will seek a 4th term. Ouattara previously won the 2015 and 2020 elections with more than 80% of the vote. But critics argue that these victories came under circumstances of boycotts and limited opposition participation. This silence is creating anxiety across the political spectrum. With the main challengers now barred, the big question remains: who, if anyone, will stand against the ruling party's candidate? The global community is watching, Human rights organizations, regional bodies, and legal experts have all expressed concern about the implications of removing political heavyweights from the race. Tidjane Thiam's appeal to the UN Human Rights Committee may not resolve the matter before Election Day, but it signals that the fight for democratic space is far from over. Meanwhile, some analysts warn that this crackdown may provoke unrest. Ivory Coast is no stranger to post-election violence, and there are growing fears of protests and instability. Ivorians on the street are declaring, "We want, but peace comes with justice." Others are expressing, "How can we trust elections when the real candidates are excluded?" And still, some are skeptical, saying, "I'm voting, but I don't know for who yet. It all feels decided already." These are just a few voices from Abidjan, where uncertainty hangs in the air. As Ivory Coast heads into a volatile election season, the world watches and waits. Will democracy hold? Will peace prevail? Or are we witnessing the erosion of political plurality in one of West Africa's key nations? This is News Radio Africa. Stay tuned, stay informed, and stay proud because Africa is awakening.